allegations of hush money, assault, and defamation. These are just three of the things Donald Trump has found himself in the headlines for. $83 million is at stake, as a jury has ruled that Trump must pay former journalist E Jean Carroll for damages after his offensive and defamatory statements towards her. This is a setback for Trump, as he campaigns for his return to the White House. The jury, formed by 9 people, in addition to receiving more than $18 million in compensatory damages, Ms. Carroll was granted $65 million in punitive damages after Trump was previously convicted guilty of sexual abuse and then discredited her claims of being assaulted, so inciting threats of death and nasty comments directed towards her. Trump, who became the 45th President of the United States in 2017, announced his intentions to campaign in the 2024 election. However, this court case could now become a setback and possibly prevent him from doing this. Following an intense 2-week civil trial in a federal courtroom in Manhattan, where Mr. Trump's attorneys adamantly argued against Ms. Carroll's case, and the former president repeatedly attacked and possibly defamed her in press conferences and dozens of posts on his Truth Social, a verdict was delivered on Friday after about 3 hours of deliberation. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan prohibited Mr. Trump and his legal team from contesting the case's facts, which include the allegations that he molested her sexually at a Manhattan department store during the 1990s and falsely accused her in remarks refuting those claims. Ms. Carroll held her attorney Sean Crowley's hand as the verdict was announced on Friday. Ms. Carroll grinned and turned to face the jury as the damages were read out loud. The jury's unanimous verdict devastated Ms. Carroll's defense team. Following Judge Kaplan's dismissal of the court, Ms. Carroll, Ms. Crowley, and lawyer Roberta Kaplan sobbed together. But Mr. Trump wasn't present. Only seconds before, he had exited the courthouse. With a quick bow to the court personnel, Mr. Trump's attorney Alina Habba and the rest of his legal team left the room. She referred to the jury outside of the courtroom as ridiculous, a term that Mr. Trump also used to describe the jury following the verdict. From what I've observed, Mr. Trump took the stand and followed the corrupt system's procedures. The press gathered outside was informed by her that, "We will immediately appeal, we will set aside that ridiculous jury, and I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue to fight with President Trump for everybody's right to speak and the right to defend themselves when they are wrongly accused, and to be able to say that I didn't do it." Earlier in the day, during Ms. Kaplan's closing statements, Mr. Trump suddenly stormed out of the courtroom. She informed the jurors that the former president continued to make possibly defamatory remarks despite the initial verdict against him. "Not at all," she replied. "Not even for a full day." Ms. Kaplan restated points made by her team during the first exchanges of arguments. She requested that the jury take into account both the acceptable monetary amount that Mr. Trump owes for his defamation and the amount that would be necessary to stop him. The frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination, who maintains that he has never even seen Ms. Carroll, has persisted in demonizing her as a liar and a whack job who made up her claims. Upon his arrival at the courtroom for the defamation trial last week, he made numerous potentially defamatory remarks against her on Truth Social. Utilizing his court appearances as a platform for his presidential candidature campaign, Mr. Trump has portrayed himself as the victim of an unfounded conspiracy theory, alleging that the legal system is being used against him. Hours before he would be compelled to pay millions of dollars for making similar allegations against her, on Thursday night, he claimed in a video posted to his Truth Social page, "I have no idea who she is, where she's come from. We need to fight this stuff. It's just another scam and political witch hunt," he declared. "We cannot allow our nation to descend into this abyss. This is utterly shameful." The judge repeatedly reprimanded Mr. Trump and Ms. Habba during the 2-week trial for their attempts to disrupt the proceedings or present evidence inappropriately. Mr. Trump himself took the witness stand on Thursday, spending about 3 minutes there. He declared that he, 100%, stood by remarks made in an earlier deposition. Ms. Habba was eventually unsuccessful in her attempt to convince jurors that Ms. Carroll had failed to show she is entitled to any damages at all, because she actively sought the comments and the attention Mr. Trump levied against her. Completely absurd. Mr. Trump wrote on his Truth Social, minutes after Friday's verdict was delivered, "Every First Amendment right has been stripped away by them. I am not in America. We anticipate an appeal from Mr. Trump. The decision adds to Mr. Trump's mounting legal woes, which already include 91 criminal accusations, resulting from 4 distinct federal and state charges, as well as a potentially disastrous litigation that could jeopardize both his enormous real estate empire and his family business, located in New York. A New York judge is expected to render a decision this month after 11 weeks of witness testimony in a civil trial against his Trump organization. The ruling could result in $370 million in fines against him, his adult sons, and key associates as a result of a lawsuit that alleges more than 10 years of fraud. Many people believe this is a new case. However, what people do not know is that this dates back to 1996. In 1996, the alleged assault occurs. Carroll claims that in the spring of 1996, she met Trump at the upscale Midtown Manhattan department store, Bergdorf Goodman. Carroll started her long-running Ask E Jean column in Elle magazine a few years prior, and she would carry it out for decades. Carroll says the former president asked for assistance in purchasing a gift for a girl after recognizing her at the store. Carroll claims that after they entered a dressing room, Trump sexually assaulted her. Carroll claims that after that, she confided in 2 friends, writer Lisa Birnbach and veteran CBS newswoman Carol Martin. In June 2019, Carroll finally came forwards, and Trump instantly denied all claims. On June 21, 2019, Carroll's upcoming book, What Do We Need Men For?, was featured in an extract that appeared in New York Magazine. Hideous men. 23 years ago, in a dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman, Donald Trump attacked me. The headline, "But he's not alone on the list of awful men in my life," brought Carroll's tale to the attention of the general public for the first time. A few hours later, the White House released a written response in which Trump refuted her allegations. "This is a person I have never met in my life." He wrote at the time, "She is trying to sell a new book. That should indicate her motivation. The fiction section is where it belongs to be sold." The following day, as Trump was leaving to board Marine One, a reporter questioned him about Carroll's charges on the White House South Lawn. The reporter cited a photo of the former president and Carroll taken together in the 1980s, despite the president's written claim that he had never met Carroll. "With my back to the camera, standing in a queue with my coat on, give me a break." "I don't know who she is," Trump retorted. "What she did is, what's happening is terrible. Thus, I don't know anything about her, and this is a completely unfounded claim." November 2019 saw Trump sued for defamation by Carroll. Carroll sued Trump on November 4, 2019. Due to the statute of limitations, the advice columnist was unable to pursue damages for the alleged attack. Instead, he filed defamation claims against the former president for his written statement and remarks made on the South Lawn. Although it has since been deleted from the case file, the initial complaint also mentioned Trump's interview with The Hill following Carroll's disclosure, in which he again refuted her account and claimed, "She's not my type." On September 8, 2020, about a year later, the Trump administration's Justice Department formally became engaged, providing Trump with a possible escape route. They attempted to intervene on behalf of the defendant under the Westfall Act, confirming that Trump made the disputed words while serving as president. A few weeks later, former President Clinton's appointee, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan, denied the attempt. The lawsuit was delayed for several years by the complicated legal battle that the Biden-era Justice Department persisted in waging on appeal. November 2022, a second lawsuit against Trump by Carroll. In the aftermath of the #MeToo movement, New York became one of several states to pass legislation reinstating previously time-barred claims seeking civil damages for sexual misconduct, while Carroll's initial complaint remained pending. On November 24, 2022, New York's Adult Survivors Act came into force, providing plaintiffs with a 1-year look-back period to file those claims. Carroll filed a second lawsuit against Trump on the same day. A federal jury in New York finds Trump guilty of sexual molestation on May 9, 2023. Carroll was awarded $5 million in damages, in addition to winning her slander lawsuit against Trump. Their fight immediately became more intense. Trump refuted Carroll's account once more when he showed up for a prearranged CNN town hall the day following the judgment. She then added those remarks to her initial defamation action, which was still pending in court. Then, hours before Trump's town hall, the former president filed a countersuit against Carroll for defamation due to an appearance on CNN. Despite the jury's conclusion that Carroll was only accountable for sexual abuse and not rape under New York law, Carroll had made it clear that he had raped her. On September 8, 2023, Kaplan declared that Trump was accountable for defaming Carroll since the prior jury's decision automatically deemed his denials to be false and defamatory. Carroll was awarded a partial victory, but a jury would still have to decide on the matter of damages. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure the notification bell is turned on so you never miss a video. See you next time.